We hear that, but what does that mean? So, let's see. Steadfast, fixed in direction, steadily directed, firm in purpose, resolution, faith or attachment, unwavering. So, wisdom is something that is going to be solid. If you follow down that path, you're not going to be in a space where things are going to all of a sudden go left because you followed wisdom. Wisdom is going to continue down that straight and narrow. It's going to continue down that same course. It's not all of a sudden going to start going left. Oh, I follow wisdom. All of a sudden it started taking me this way. Then it wouldn't be wisdom. It would be foolishness. Wisdom's going to keep you on that straight and narrow. And it says sure. What is sure? So it said sure. Wisdom is sure. Let's see what sure means. Sure, free from doubt as to the reliability, character, action, etc. of something. Confident as of something expected. So you can be sure, wisdom is sure, it is going to work. There's no need to doubt it. No need to, but what if all of a sudden it's going to come through every time. It's going to work if you follow it. So now, the next it says, free from care. Free from care, meaning what? This type of care is dealing with, a lot of times the scripture reference care, it's dealing with what we would identify as stress. Because you get stressed due to the high level of care or concern you have for something that's always plaguing your mind to where it's causing you to feel some type of way. So free from care meaning free from that burden of being stressed out. Wisdom is not going to have you stressed out. That's something simple. All right, let's keep it simple. Let's say your bills. Wisdom is going to tell you to try to not procrastinate when paying your bills. Instead of you waiting to the last minute or not even organizing, I don't even know what bills I did or didn't pay, or dang, I might get hit with this, a late notice for this, take care of it early. Wisdom's going to tell you just not to procrastinate with anything in general. Whether you're looking for jobs, all right, let me stay on top of my email. I know I'm looking. Hey, let me make sure because they can reach out. So let me be more diligent with checking. Man, they reached out to you a week ago. You ain't reply. It was there. You just weren't doing your due diligence. You weren't, staying on top of things. So wisdom is going to have you do things in a way that will be most conducive for the situation, have you without stress. So same thing. You have a job, you own the job. If I know I need to prepare for the job, then I need to start doing that prior. Not even just, okay, I need to get the job, let me do these things, prepare. But I mean, you have the job. You need to prepare your lunch, bring certain items for work. Those things you shouldn't be trying to get together just if you're working a morning shift. You need to get that together the night before, not the morning of trying to make it work, because now you're more than likely going to be late, or you're going to forget something pertinent that you need, or a combination of both, more often than not. So wisdom would tell you, let me prepare prior. Let me prepare ahead of time. So now let's continue. Verse 23. Having all power. Wisdom is something that it's powerful. It's an unstoppable force. So because it's always going to be the best choice in the situation. It's always going to be the best choice in the situation. It's always going to, prevail over everything else. So it's always going to come through. It says overseeing all things. How does it oversee all things? Because there's a level of wisdom that operates in all things. Everything it is you seek to do, there's a level of wisdom that has to be utilized in order for it to be successful. There has to be a level of wisdom in that thing. And people may study that thing to learn how to be wise in that craft. So even if it comes like the scriptures say, our people are even wise to do evil. You learn the ins and outs of how to do something and make it successful and make it work. Even if those things may not necessarily be the right thing to do. So, but you learn that knowledge, understanding, and how to apply those things in that fashion to have success in this area, get ahead in this area, even if that area may not be as honorable or as noble. So now, and going through all understanding, wisdom is because the fulfillment, the culmination of wisdom, it had to have gone through knowledge and understanding. It needs that information and how to convey it, so you know how to apply it. So it has to go through that process. It says pure. Something that's pure is something that is undefiled, untainted. It's something that, man, it's immaculate. So beautiful. So, but it's pure, it's untainted, undefiled. Wisdom is something that is not tainted or defiled. And most subtle. So, meaning that wisdom isn't always going to be over the top in every situation. Wisdom, a lot of times, is going to be like that, calm, composed. Like, hey, it's just that, all right, this is how you handle this. This is how you should go about this. So a lot of time the foolishness is going to be with all the rah-rah and, you know, all the extras and whoop-whoops and everything else. But wisdom's going to be, carries itself in a different manner. So, and then, like I said, spirits. Because wisdom is a spirit that operates within us, within our mind, within our vessels. So, but it's something that can grow within us and take on more positive spirits within wisdom, like all these different attributes. Verse 24, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. So whether you take a car, train, airplane, so on and so forth, you see how these things may move, you know, through space, but wisdom moves more than all of these other things. It's faster, so than all these things, stronger than all of these things in terms of wisdom. So now, reading on, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Most High set it up, man. Wisdom and its spirit can move through everything seamlessly because it's you got to use it as a filter. Otherwise, you won't gain success. Verse 25, for she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. So that's the thing. It's when the Most High speaks, he's speaking through wisdom. Everything he does is through wisdom. How the life in everything, because with that breath, you know, you get like that breath of life, that fresh air, you know, that is that life force is literally, you know, it just resonates from the Most High. So it resonates from him. So in a pure influence of flowing from the glory of the Almighty. See, a pure influence. A lot of us, man, and that's something to, you know, fight to try to ascertain is that you want to obtain a level of pure influence. And you can do that through wisdom. You learn to have a pure influence. That's what the Most High has, pure influence. So therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her? So, and this is really letting you know when you're really reaching the Most High's levels of wisdom, And we start learning that through the studying, but the biggest part, the application of the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how we really start getting that and putting that together. That's how it starts working. So that way we can be in a place where we're not defiled to be able to obtain higher levels of wisdom and be more like the Most High God, because that's how he created us to be. We're made in his image. Verse 26, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light. So why would say she is the brightness of the everlasting light? That everlasting light is supposed to be a representation of both the Most High and eternity, because that power of eternity, that light, comes from the Most High, that we should have and seek to obtain so we can have that everlasting life, getting that power and light from the Most High so we can be everlasting ourselves. And it's showing you that through wisdom, through the learning and application of Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and we get that spirit from him, a piece of him, his spirit within us, to help us be pure, help us be undefiled, untainted, and to move as small vessels of his. So small vessels of his, just with a little bit of his power. It's like Most High, he like that, even though you can't contain him, but just to put things in perspective, it's like, imagine he's like a big pool, and you just getting, all right, I just got to get that drop from that pool, that drop from that ocean, and just to, bam, I got some water in the jet. That's enough to just fill me up. If I just get a drop of that, everybody just getting a little droplets. Think of how many droplets are in the ocean. Innumerable. Couldn't even measure. Couldn't even put a number. How many drops would it take to fill in the ocean? That's like the Most High. We just a drop, but a drop of his spirit is potent for us. It's like, put in perspective. Imagine like a drop for an ant. That's a lot, So, but the ant couldn't take on the whole ocean, too much. So even the Most High, we couldn't take on all his power, too much for us. We got to deal with fragments of it because we're not built as he is. But we'll be able to be made in ways that the Most High, I'll say similar in terms of, you'll have this like me, you'll have that like me, because that was the whole goal from the beginning, was for us to be like him, literally to be his children, his offspring. And so if he has these things, he wants us to have versions of those things as well. I want you to be successful in these. I want you, as I'm eternal, I want you to be eternal. As I have power, I want you to have power. If I have wisdom, I want you to have wisdom. A lot of those things he wants you to have. So, which is beautiful. That's, man, heck of a power we serve. To want that for his creation. That's a beautiful thing. But not everybody wants to do what's required to be worthy of it and accept it. So now, reading on, and verse 26. So it says, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of God, in the image of his goodness. So see that? Just like we were dealing with. When you start taking on wisdom, you're taking on more and more of the Most High Spirit. So, and even in the world, there's a level that you start taking, because the Most High, he works through all things. And it's just understanding, like, again, perfect example, like what he told Abraham when he was Abram. What did he tell him? Walk before me and be thou perfect. So, let you know what? Many things he was doing naturally. Many things he was doing that was good. Understanding the moral civil code that the Most High established back before with Adam and Eve and taught them, and they passed down, understanding many of those things. But there's a point in time when, okay, are you going to do what's necessary in these other areas of your life to be everything I want you to be? Are you going to make these other changes? Some people in the world may have 4, 5, 6 out of 10, so to speak, things right. But it's like, are you going to get these other 2, 3, 4, 5 things right to be great with the Most High, to be perfect, to be complete with the Most High God and completely serve Him? Or are you going to still stay on that 7.5, 6.0? Most High, nah, I need that completion. So I need you to get all the way there. Of course, 10 out of 10 we would say, but for the Most High, I need them 8, 7 across the board. I don't need 3, I don't need 4, I don't need 5, I don't need 6, I need 7. That's what I need. That's what I'm looking for. Of course, He'll take those things through the process and journey of you learning, but it's still, the goal is for you to reach the bar up here. The bar's not going to drop to your level. You have to strive to raise to the challenge and become everything the Most High wants you to be. Hey, I want you up here. All right, let me continue to gradually work on that. So slowly but surely, so I can reach that level that's pleasing to the Most High, which it's not going to happen overnight. And the Most High knows that. He knows, He knows the world is chaotic. He knows the world is wicked, and He knows you're learning. And He knows people learn at different paces. Some people are learning from bad leadership, wicked leaders that may not be as competent, may not be as knowledgeable, may not have as good understanding. Okay. But He also knows there are good leaders out there, and He knows people growing at different levels. And even under a good leader, people still grow at different levels. May take this person 3 years to learn this concept or these things, whereas someone else, it may take them a year to learn these other things. But then both can have their trade-offs in terms of things that they may have been able to perform sooner or later. Continuing on, verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things. And remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages, entering into holy souls. Listen to this. And in all ages, entering into holy souls. She maketh them friends of God and prophets. So now it's bringing everything to a head. If you're truly trying or desire to seek favor with the Most High God, to be one of His special chosen, so to speak, as you may read of others who were highly favored, highly valued or respected the Most High, it's going to take a sincere desire, consistent effort, application, prayer, fasting, to fighting to apply the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments so you can obtain unto that wisdom and be in that space to where the Most High God, regardless of anyone else feels, but he can put you in a space to where He can consider you a friend. Choose you to be a righteous prophet, a holy prophet, not a false prophet. You don't want to be that, but a holy prophet. You want that. So now, reading on, verse 28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. You have to understand that. As it says, for God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Because you have to understand, okay, the Most High God, He cares. He has a level of care for the whole earth. He takes care of the just and the unjust. He makes his sun to shine on the just and the unjust, the rain to fall on the just and the unjust, that the scriptures deal with. But he deals with limit. There's some that, they have received blessing from him, although they don't know him. But it's understanding that the Most High God, who he loveth, because certain people, he does certain things for them, but that does not mean that he loves them. They think, well, shoot, well, God bless her helping out. God blesses the whole earth. The whole earth is blessed to the Most High God. Yes, everyone is blessed to a degree by the Most High God. Some more and some less. Remember, even right now, you got to understand, he's allowing and blessing the wicked right now. But it's temporary. And using Satan as the chief entity is, as long as they do wrong, then they'll receive these blessings, but it's temporary. They won't receive these everlasting blessings. So it's, laugh now, but cry later. Where these are crying now, but they're going to laugh later. Trade-off. So, it's how I set the game up to be played. And he's the architect. He's the grand architect in charge. So now, having a situation where, like it says, for God loveth none, but him that dwelleth with wisdom. You got to understand, if you want the Most High to love you, to really, and that love is first and foremost that thing that is obtained through righteousness. That's why I said them that dwelleth, they have to stay on there. You got to live there. You can't just visit. Some people just like to visit with. They like to just, all right, I'll apply this now, but I'm not going to maintain that. It's not really my style. You got to maintain it. I can't just light switch it. I turn it on, for the weekend and turn it off during the week. Nah, I can't do that. I have to make sure I fight. It's not always easy. Sometimes it is a fight. It is a sincere fight to maintain righteousness, because then you're dwelling. If remember, because you dwelling, you living there. You say, oh, this is a nice dwelling. This is a nice home, nice house. I mean, you living there. You need to live with wisdom. Y'all need to be the best of roommates, best buddies. Y'all need to be spouses. That's how tight and close y'all are. Closer you get. So, and y'all need to be close. And that's also why the scriptures liken wisdom unto a woman. And the Most High because, the Most High is a masculine entity, and that he dwells with wisdom, that he called it a female, likes unto a female entity, because he's trying to say that that's the companionship that should be had, the companionship that's similar to a husband and wife. Y'all should be close. Hey, scoom boom, wrapped up, one. Because that's the thing, husband and wife become one flesh. Y'all should be one, moving as one, in the same minds and in the same spirit. Y'all should be moving it and operating in. Same thing with it. You should want to be joined unto wisdom. Being joined unto him, close to wisdom. Make sure you and wisdom on the same page. That's how you should want to be. That's how you should want to operate and think. Let's continue verse 29. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it. So now, wisdom, as much as we can think of some of these other ordinances that God made, the sun, the moon, the stars, wisdom is more beautiful than all these other things. Because we'll try to do what we can to look up images and Google and look through telescopes to try to see the sun, the moon, the stars, and just be looking up at the sky. It's so beautiful. That level of admiration or care is the same level that you should have if not greater, for wisdom. To learn how to properly serve the Most High God, serve the creator of heaven and earth that made all those things, stars, sun, moon, and really understanding, like, man, how great can one be to make something like this? What kind of mind do you have to make all these things? That's the type of honor, dignity, respect we want to give to the Most High God. Because it's, man, how can we fathom it? And who or what can compare? Nothing. Nothing. So now reading on in verse 30, for after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. Because, man, it's letting you know that if you don't have wisdom, and if you're not in the day, you're not in the light, then you're in darkness. That's what it said. But vice, it's not going to succeed against wisdom. So, because vice is always trying to get you caught up, but wisdom will help you avoid vice. Let's get definition of vice. Vice, an immoral or evil habit or practice. We say, dang, that seemed tough. But think about it. Wisdom is not going to move immorally. Wisdom's always going to move morally. Wisdom, there's no evil in it. So there's no evil habit that will be able to be made in wisdom or practice. And learning wisdom and operating will allow you to learn the skills and have the tools needed and necessary to avoid those types of problems. Okay, if I'm in a situation where this happens, then I need to move this way, so that way I can avoid that situation and not have to suffer vice. If I'm in a place where, okay, let's deal with a common one for many. Lust. There's various lusts. So, things you may covet after, and it can range. It can range from, okay, let's say food, gluttonous things. And let's say that's a problem for me. I just keep eating all these snacks and treats. Okay, if that's your vice, then now wisdom is going to tell you need to take more preventative measures to make sure you don't have as easy of an access to these things, to where now, because it's there, and due to your lack of self-control or self-restraint, you're now in a place where you're overindulging, creating an imbalance. I'm going too far into the negative. So rather, I need to remove these things from an ease of access location to make where now I have to go out of my way. And then going out of my way, that's creating barriers for me that I got to jump through all these hurdles. And many times I'm not going to feel like jumping through all them hurdles. I just want it this way. But when I'm in a good space, I hide those things. I put those things away. Time for, hey, y'all hide these things, so I don't see it. Or, I just go out and get it. I ain't even going to have it around. I ain't going to bring them bags home. Nah, leave that bag there. Nope, I ain't picking up that box. Nope, leave that box there. If I get it, bring it home, it's a wrap. You consider it gone. Shoot, it might not even last a day. Let me get a hold of it. I eat the whole box, the whole bag. Nah, negative. Instead, I'm going to just go out and get it. If I get hungry, I'm going to go on out and get it. And if I want it, then I'll get it. But I know I'm not always going to feel like going out to get it. Anytime I'm too tired, too sleepy, not going to feel like driving, you're going to have that. So it's keeping that in mind. So now, reading on chapter 8 and verse 1. The book of the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1. It reads, wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily. So wisdom can go back and forth from one end of the table, so to speak, all the way to the other. Cover everything in between. Wisdom is well-rounded. I can deal with all the different, that's like that, I can deal with all the different subject matters that can take place. I can deal with it. I can work it. Nothing that can stop me in that regard. Reading on, and sweetly doth she order all things. And it says sweetly. The meaning, with me just gonna jumble everything up. All right, toss that in the corner. I did it. Wisdom's going to not only order these things, but sweetly order these things. Can do it in a way, can move in a way to where it's like, dang, that makes sense. That is helpful. That works out. Beautiful thing. Reading on, verse 2. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. That's a key thing. That's actually two key things that not everybody is always feeling. The first of which is, I loved her. You gotta love her. You gotta love wisdom. That's the first. Not everybody loves wisdom. You gotta love wisdom. Then it also says, and sought her out from my youth. That's the second. You gotta seek her out, but not even just seek out wisdom. Start young. Start young. Seek out wisdom while young, because if you seek out wisdom while you are younger, while you are young, not just younger, but young, you will grow that much more wiser in time. That much more wiser. So, because you may have started learning in your 60s or your 50s, 40s, imagine you got it 10, 15, 20 years prior. And how much better you could have been if you learned these various things. Could have been that much better. That much better of a version of yourself had you have gotten that. Man. And who knows what the possibilities could have been. So many people think about that. Man, if I just would have, I could have been there. I could have done this. And yeah. But we don't want to be in that space. We want to be like, no, it's because I applied wisdom, because I learned. A lot of times because I had parents. Man, parents been thinking, because I had parents to instill these things in me, to teach me these things to where now I could be here. That's important. Verse 2 says, I loved her and sought her out from my youth. And that's the other thing. Everyone in their youth, they're not thinking about how to operate in the best way, how to be, righteous and how to deal in things in a good way. They're not thinking about that. Their mind isn't focused on that. So now, verse 2. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. I desired to make her my spouse, desired to be joined unto her, desired to be joined unto wisdom, to be at one with wisdom. That's beautiful. So that's the way you want it to be. And just to love her, just how. You ever see a good plan come together? You made good plans, arrangement, those things just fall together perfectly. It's just, man, like that's what makes it beautiful. Just how you just come together and just make things work. That's a beautiful thing. Now, reading on verse 3. In that she is conversant with God. She magnifieth her nobility. Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her. Excuse me. So, in that she is conversant with God, like, these are the conversations. She's part of the conversation that God is having. She's there. And everything God is talking about, wisdom is there. Everything Most High, all instructions he's given, good spirits, bad spirits, angels, demons. Wisdom's always there in the midst. Let you know, Most High, he ain't on no foolishness. He ain't on no foolishness. He ain't got foolish or cloud. He's like, nah, everything is wisdom. Letting everything operate and move in wisdom. Perfect. Verse 2. For she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of God and a lover of his works. See that? She close. That's that marriage. That's that righteous marriage. She know everything. She know God. That if he had underwear, she would know it. That hey, I know his underwear. I've seen I've seen all sides of him. I know what size shoe he wear. If he got shoes, I know it. So I know how long his beard is, and hey, I know it. I done measured. I'm here. She's there, everything. So she's present. That's what you're dealing with. So verse 4 again, for she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of God. So all the things, hey, wisdom is in his head. That's what he's always thinking and meditating and filtering everything through wisdom. All right, well, I do this. All right, I'm going to go with this now. This will make more sense. He's doing that. So now, and it says, she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of God and a lover of his works. Everything, man, he's made, it's like, man, he made this in wisdom. He made this, he made that. It's a beautiful thing. So now verse 5. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? That's powerful. Because many people, they would desire to be rich in this life. Because money, that's all thing. If I got a lot of it, that means I have a lot of things answered. A lot of things, hey, them problems solved. Because there are a lot of things that are just financial issues. So now, if I have wisdom, because wisdom is that rich possession, I can finally learn and know how to move or operate across a wide spectrum of issues. So that's good. So now, reading on in verse 6. And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? Man. So it's telling you, if you were to give wisdom a job and observe the type of physical labor that wisdom would do, and it's like, man, who can make things better than wisdom? Wisdom, man, it's like they ain't there invented the process, invented all the different techniques for this and how to do this and get it done so fast and so efficiently. It's blowing people away. So now, verse 7. It says, and if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues. If a man loves righteousness, her labor, things she wants to virtues. So now, it says, for she teacheth temperance and prudence. You're going to need temperance. You're going to need, let's get those two too. Temperance. Let's get temperance, and we're also going to get not just the prudence. So temperance, moderation of self-restraint in action, statement, self-control. Habitual moderation in the indulgence of a natural appetite or passion, especially in the use of alcoholic liquors, and in total abstinence from alcoholic liquor. So temperance is how you're able to restrain yourself and move in moderation towards need to be something you're saying or doing it or all right, let me not think that all right, let me operate this way. Learning. Let's get prudence. What is prudence? Prudence, the quality or fact of being prudent or wise in practical affairs, as by providing for the future. Caution with regard to practical matters, discretion, regard for one's own interests, provident care in the management of resources, economy, frugality. So, prudent. So I'm being mindful, I'm being wise in how I deal with various affairs. So that's what I'm dealing with. That's why it does in verse 6. And if prudent work, so wisdom, if it's doing, work with regards to quality or fact, of being wise in affairs, then yeah, yeah. Let me then wisdom is doing its job. Okay, wisdom is doing its job. So now, let's pick things back up in verse 7. Read verse 7 from the top. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude. A lot of time people, we want justice. We have to understand the root of justice is just. You want to be just and teach others to be just. Practice being just. And then that's how you start to change the culture around you. Because either you're going to change them or they're going to change you. One or the other. But you decide. So can you maintain justice? That's important. So, if a man, verse 7. Wisdom Psalm chapter 8, verse 7. If a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. So men, it's like man, there's nothing really more valuable than these principles, than these things, to have these things. Like, man, you can't put a price or sticker on it. It's just that big, that deep. Verse 9. It said, therefore I purpose to take her to me to live with me. So, why? You think like, man, I need to marry wisdom. I need to be close to wisdom. I need to be there. Wisdom there, I'm there. That's how I feel. That's where he's at. So, let me continue. Verse 8. If a man desire much experience, verse 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjureth aright what is to come. So now, why does it say that? Because it dealt with if a man desire much experience. Man desire, how you desire much experience. Well, how are you going to get that? You need wisdom and application. You need to move and utilize wisdom to, learn how to figure things out and how to do certain things. You need that. So now, it says, therefore now let me not even get that yet. But if a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old. So, wisdom is going to show you and teach you how to do things the right way, even when you see people do things the wrong way. And the other thing, like it says, and conjureth the right, what is to come. So wisdom is not going to be just like a palm reader or something like that, or psychic. Now, wisdom is going to be able to filter out and see through habits, patience, perseverance. I see how this person operating. Nah, it's not going to be a good choice as a spouse. Just keep going. Nah. You see this job and its hours we require. It's not going to be good for you. Don't worry. Just keep going. I got something else for you. You have that. Wisdom's going to teach you and tell you, all those various things. Okay. So now, let's get let's continue verse 8. She knoweth the subtleties of speech. Wisdom teach you all the subtleties of speech, all the things how you have to be careful in terms of how you talk to you, what you say, how you say, tone of voice, and learning how to say a wise proverb and knowing the time to say things and time just not right now. And learning wisdom to be more reserved at times, but not too quiet and knowing when to speak up, how to speak up. It's a process. We try not to be overwhelmed with that process or say too much in that process and just learn the process. Okay? So now, verse 9 says, therefore, now with all that being said, I purpose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things and a comfort in cares and grief. Why does it say that? This is a good one that you want to take. Hey, you building a lesson or learning, need some help on how to be a better spouse. This is part of that. 9 shows you how a spouse should be. Because this is therefore I purpose to take her to me. This is, I'm drawing on like, this is like a man taking on a wife. I purpose that seeing all of her attributes, all these good fruits on this tree of wisdom. I saw all these good fruits, right? Then these things I meditate on and said, man, this is why I need to be joined with. This is who I need to be living with. Do you see how she operates? I need that. I need to be with that. So I need to be with that. So now that's why therefore I purpose to take her to me to live with me. Knowing, and not just to visit me, you gotta live with me, not just visit, you gotta dwell, to live with me. Knowing, not assuming, not guessing, I've been around enough with you to know that she will be a counselor of good things. Understanding, not everybody's gonna be a counselor of good things. Some will be a counselor of bad things. You can be with somebody that although you join with them, they'll tell you to do something wrong. That can cause you to get locked up and possibly them get locked up. Cause you to, or even not on that end, just cause you to be in a space of where you're defiling your spirit, doing something wicked, being convinced to do some wicked stuff, and they getting defiled right along with you. Or it's, man, you need a counselor. Good, and that all shows marriage counsel happens or should happen within marriage. Go to show you, need that counsel. Times, yes, even as a husband, although he is the head or leader, doesn't mean to go without counsel. It doesn't mean ignore everything your wife says. Wife may have some good points. Wife may have some wisdom. Wife may say, hey, this is a good way to, that's solid. Let's work with that. Let's rock. You had that. You read that at various times in the scriptures. And so with different people, your wife's speaking facts on this. And so in this situation, that's how I listen to her. So in a Proverbs 31 woman, she'll be that. And through wisdom, she'll become that. Listen, that's what you got right here. So like it says, and then it says, will be a counsel, good thing, and a comfort in cares and grief. A comfort in cares. Comfort in what? In stress. I'm stressed out. She should be there to be a comfort. You want to be with something, be a comfort when I'm stressed out. Not adding a lot more to the stress. Learning how to be a comfort when things are stressful. Man, for a woman, work to be more of that man's peace. Especially as a woman, But as a spouse, you want to learn to be each other's peace. Help make things more peaceful on each other. Be more understanding, more reasonable. So make some of the adjustments based, okay, got someone stressed out, let me bag off, let me give a little space. So let me try to make the environment more peaceful, more open, more welcoming. So now, even continuing on, and it says, comfort and cares and grief. I'm sorrowful. I'm depressed. Hey, learn to be a comfort. Learn to give comfort during those times. Learning different ways to comfort, but still be that comfort. Because, all right, let's see the definition of comfort. Comfort. And we're getting dictionary, using dictionary.com. Oh, man, I'm waiting for this ad to pass. So, but, anyway, you definitely want to be a comfort and a support, not a hindrance, not a headache. You don't want to be that in your house. You don't want to be that to your spouse, especially as a wife toward your husband. Now, comfort. It says to soothe, console, or reassure. Bring cheer to. That's important. That's how wisdom is supposed to be. That's how these laws, and commandments are supposed to be. That's how a spouse should be. That's what you want, especially a wife. That's how you should be. To make physically comfortable. So that's how a woman should be. Help make you physically comfortable. So to aid, support, or encourage. To aid, support, encourage. That's definitely how, wisdom should be unto us. Get enlightened to a woman, because that's how a woman should be with her husband. And a husband can be that to his wife to an extent, Understanding, of course, by order, the woman was made to be a help and aid unto that man. But that man can also make things, he can be an aid unto her through making things easier for her through that process. Not making things as hard as they got to be. You can make things easier. You can be Toyota, make it easy, rather than Ford, built tough. You can adapt and do that. So sometimes just being more reasonable, more understanding. So actually oftentimes being more reasonable, more understanding. So, and just planning things out better, more consideration, because it's a domino effect, and it's a give and take, So it's a balance. So, and it's a game, it's a dance to be able to stay in rhythm, stay in harmony with one another. So now let's see. Okay, I think we have some good ones. So with that, okay, so now with that, I'm actually going to end up leaving off here and this verse and just meditating and leaving you to meditate with that and seeing how wisdom is likened unto a woman and is met as a wife, and that wife dynamic being joined, like a man with his wife being joined unto, and how they have to dwell and focus on being at one with one another, and just meditating on, those things. So pray you got a lot out of this, and pray you just meditate on those things the Most High willing. Next time, we'll pick things up with Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 and verse 10. So, and we'll continue on, with there. Okay. So my name is Brother Yatab, Bishop here with Sound Faith Ministries. And with that, I say, Shalom.